to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
This is Season 9, Episode 16.
Or Episode 206 if you're counting.
Good to see everybody here. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Good to see you, Josh.
Why would you say that?
I've
You've seen me
you
all day.
I know, I've seen you all day. It's still good to see you.
Well, it's nice to know.
There's an incredible height difference between our two chairs.
And I'm also sitting on
it's not fair.
a cushion.
You've got a cushion.
Well, you've got a padded seat, but that seat's been worn
not.
out.
Yeah, this seat is not there.
That seat has been bottomed out for a while.
The cat likes to take it during the day, is what happens. So.
Yes.
The intro scares you every time. I know. I'm sorry, guys. But thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you to the mods for being here. I really appreciate it.
We're gonna have a good time tonight.
Let's have a good time tonight. I want to talk about some things that we did over this past week.
So one of the things that we've been talking about a lot here is the fact that we've been very fortunate to go see a lot of early screenings of things. One of the things we did get to see this week, we didn't bring the swag with us.
Yeah, we should have.
Was the who was doing the event?
It was Sunrise.
Sunrise put out this event for the new Gundam NT movie.
It's pronounced narrative.
Pronounced narrative.
Yeah, but it's spelled NT, but yeah, it's pronounced narrative, which is supposed to be both short for new type, as well as saying, oh, this is an entirely new narrative within the Gundam Universal Century.
Specifically, it takes place within Universal Century. You can pretty easily follow the story along. It does help if you're up on your Universal Century lore.
Especially Unicorn.
Especially Unicorn. But for us, having not watched in the last couple of years and going into it, it was still easy enough to pick up. Great performances on everybody there.
Oh yeah,
really
all the voice actors were there for this. This was the
North American premiere.
North American premiere event, and Sunrise, all the directors and the producers and character designers were there. It was really, really cool. Thank you so much to Sunrise specifically, who kind of sent out this invite in my direction. For the rest of you guys, there's going to be, I believe it's the 19th, if I'm not mistaken, is when the Fathom event for Gundam NT, that's when it's going to be nationwide.
Yes.
I do highly recommend seeing it because I just really like that soundtrack. The
soundtrack was
so
boss.
good.
The fights were boss. The voice acting was very emotional. Like, I could really feel the conveyance of all of the heartbreak that the pilots are going through throughout the course of the movie. It's kind of a high concept kind of Gundam movie, but then which one of the Gundam movies aren't at this point?
That's true. It's kind of moved in that direction
It's kind of moved that way over the last couple of years. That having been said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely would recommend checking that out. But of course, another thing we've been saying to check out that you can do this weekend is Alita that came out this week. Y'all go out there and get it because we're seeing now on Rotten Tomatoes there's this huge disparity between the critics and the fans now.
Right.
Because the critics are sitting somewhere around 50-52%. Like, they just don't know what to do with it. And fans, most everybody I've seen, they're on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting like 93%. Like, the fans love it so far.
Most of my friends have come back saying that it was decent to very good. Not everybody, mind you. Like, Angry Joe really didn't like it. He thought it was, like, gorgeous looking, but not a good story. I find that most people saying that the narrative isn't good, they also probably haven't seen the anime or read the manga, which that's absolutely fair because they probably, if they don't like the movie, they probably wouldn't have liked the manga or the anime either. I think a lot of anime fans are gonna be like, good job.
Most of the anime fans on my timeline have been like, this is the best thing since Speed Racer.
Exactly,
which is high praise coming from us because we love Speed Racer.
We really enjoyed Speed Racer, that's
unapologetically.
For sure.
So for those of you, like we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, definitely get out, check it out. We do recommend the 3D because James Cameron knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
It's not often that we recommend 3D because you get motion sick.
I usually get really, really sick with 3D, but I feel like it is really, really improved, especially when we're talking about James Cameron 3D. I feel like it is the most stable 3D. I don't think the 3D is necessary to make the movie.
I think it helped.
I think it was,
especially
it was good.
for the motorball sequences, I appreciated having it there.
Sure, yeah.
But that having been said, those are the things we've got going on this week. We got a lot to cover tonight, so let's go ahead and talk to you guys about our 3 stories.
Right, so the first story, what did we say we were going to do first?
Is the unfortunate layoffs of 800 employees from Activision Blizzard this week.
That was somewhere between 8 to 10% of their current roster. Yeah, that's a lot of employees. That's super unfortunate. So we're going to talk about why did they make those decisions? What other decisions could they have made? A lot to talk about with Activision Blizzard.
And then our second story, which we've been covering since we found out this is going to be a thing. So the J.J. Abrams produced live-action adaptation of Your Name now has a director attached, and we have some more information about the plot. So we're going to talk to you guys about that, what we can expect from that story being modified from a Japanese setting to a very American setting, and how potentially that could work.
And then finally, Power Rangers sure does have a lot of news happening right now.
And Power Rangers fans are happy today.
A lot of Hasbro information, a lot of toys. So many toys.
Hasbro are being Hasbros right now.
Yeah, so we're kind of going from not so great news into, ooh, we need to check on this kind of news, to finally, we're really excited about this news.
It's an uptick. Happy
news. There is an uptick, so I hope you guys will stick around throughout the course of the episode. Until we get to those stories, though, as usual, we have follow-ups. You've sent me quite a lot of pictures for everything, really.
Yes.
So
let's get into it. Follow-ups. All right, here we go. All right, so first thing that we do is we always start off with our DC news. This is an interesting one that we kind of knew about but couldn't talk about. Now everybody can see for themselves. There's going to be another DC animated movie coming out, but this one wasn't announced with the last batch. This one specifically has to do with a crossover comic that was done, which is going to be Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And as you can see there, we have a new style of animation there for Batman and his crew there. We got Batgirl there, Damian, Robin, and of course our 4 main Ninja Turtles. What's going to be interesting about this movie, as opposed to anything else, is one, they're already pretty far along with it, which is amazing to see that. Wow, they've done this much work and it's going to be coming that quick. Like, I love it when video game companies do that.
Yes.
I love it when animation companies do that. Like, we can just expect that. You know, Batman fan here. I want more Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
The really interesting thing about this is specifically the roles of Batman and Joker, because they are both going to be played by Troy Baker.
Oh, Troy Baker talking to himself.
He's got to talk to
when
himself.
Voice actors do that.
Yeah, now, mind you, he has been voicing the Joker in Arkham Origins and some of these Batman Extreme, I forget the exact title.
Excuse me.
Bless you. These animated ones that they do direct to DVD. He's been the voice of Joker there, but he hasn't voiced Batman before. So this is going to be a first for him. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
Very excited about it.
It's supposed to be very fun, a lot of great references, so we're definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some Flash information. So over on the CW, we're well into this current season, but apparently at the end of the season, there's a very prevalent rumor that we're waiting on more confirmation of, but apparently Carlos Valdez, who plays Cisco there on the show, will potentially be leaving the cast.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because Cisco's probably my favorite character next to Barry.
Interestingly enough, the episode that I worked on the captions for, that I think it went to air either last week or the week before, he wasn't in that episode.
No, see, that's the thing. Fans have been noticing he's been consistently not in a lot of the episodes.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible that he could decide to take his talents elsewhere. And I appreciate when he's in the episodes, because, you know, he's always been a great source of comic relief. But now that we've got Ralph, maybe not so much.
That's true.
And people really like Ralph.
Do they?
Yeah, because
I think Ralph's pretty annoying, but
he's supposed to be annoying.
I get
That's the thing.
Yes, he's supposed to be, but I also don't have to be annoyed.
That's fair. That's up to you. If you don't want to be annoyed, that's on you.
Yeah.
So that's going on there over on the CW. Over in DC live-action movie news, so over on Shazam, there are rumors going around now. One thing we can confirm that we know for a fact is there is going to be a post-credit sequence for Shazam.
Cool.
The one thing that we haven't confirmed yet is whether or not Superman will be involved. So the prevalent rumor going on around there, and there's been a lot of people trying to corroborate this, is that Billy Batson will bring, or his friend there, Freddy, will bring Shazam to school, and along with him, we will see Superman. But it won't be Henry Cavill. It'll just be from the neck down, just so you can recognize the blue suit and the cape.
Yeah.
That way they can tie everything together.
Great.
So maybe that'll be a thing, but we do know that there is something to stay after the credits for, so be on the lookout for that.
That's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. When are we supposed to see Shazam again?
That's in May?
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Okay, so moving on to our Marvel news here. So, over on the streaming end of things. So, of course, we are all very sad that we don't have all our Defenders together. A lot of them having been canceled. We're just waiting on the shoe to drop for Punisher and Jessica Jones. So people are hoping, because there's that whole agreement that we talked to you guys about, that they can't do anything for 2 years after their cancellation.
Right.
Where could they possibly go? And, well, apparently Hulu has thrown their hat into the ring, saying once the 2 years are up, we would love to talk to Marvel and get those series back on the air.
Oh, that would be great. It's just a shame that we gotta wait those 2 years for somebody to snag them.
And see, that's even saying that Disney will let them have it.
Right.
Because, of course, if they're not going to put them on their streaming service, then why would you do this?
Exactly, I agree.
So I'm not so sure about that. Now, over on the movie end of things, of course, we're gearing up towards the debut of Captain Marvel. What's nice on the Marvel end of things, because they have set the movie in the 90s, they've got a tie-in website right now, which looks straight up GeoCities. If you go over to CaptainMarvel.com, it's got a guest book, it's got a GIF of the cat there, her cat.
Is it looking all Space Jam website looking?
It's very Space Jam looking.
Oh, no.
Circa 1995. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Which is funny when you compare that to, I think it's a fan site somebody set up for Reagan from Mob Psycho 100. It looks the same.
That's amazing.
It's that nice, weird enough to call nostalgia, because we grew up on those kind of websites. So if you go over there and check that out, it's got, pictures, it's got a guest book you can sign. If anybody remembers what those are, that's a thing you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to some Star Wars news. So we got two things to report to you guys on. The first most important thing is that as of 2 days ago, the movie has wrapped.
That's insane.
Episode 9's done filming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
So the other weird thing about it that we're starting to look into and wonder, okay, what are they trying to do here, is the announcement, of course, the last couple of years we've had what they called Force Friday, where they put all of this swag out. You can go to Walmart, Target, wherever.
Right.
And then this
like
is the first
midnight
time
release of toys, yeah.
So what they're announcing here for October the 4th of this year is something they're calling Triple Force Friday.
Oh my god.
So it's not going to be just for one thing that they're releasing. Specifically, it's going to be things for Episode 9, for The Mandalorian, this live-action series that they're going to be doing, and Star Wars Jedi Lost Order, this video game they're coming out with.
Ooh, that's a lot of stuff.
All this stuff on October 4th. So you guys get your money together. I know we're all hurting in the pocketbooks as nerds this week.
They're gonna release new Star Wars Nerf stuff, right? Because that always happens.
More than likely, yes.
I'm gonna be waiting on that Star Wars Nerf stuff.
We still haven't gotten the last batch of Star Wars Nerf stuff.
Well, we should do that,
We should do that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's stuff we got coming. Very much hoping for a trailer. We still haven't gotten any we still haven't confirmed that it's coming yet, although we are getting sparse reports here, there, and everywhere else that canisters from Lucasfilm are starting to show up at different movie theaters that could potentially have our first look at it, but they are code locked. Basically, you have to have a certain thing that you have to scan in order to take a look at what's inside, and they're making sure to keep those two pieces separate.
So, kind of as a side note here, even my job, I don't know why this is, but Disney has kind of gone nuts, and we have to do things a lot differently at work because of Disney, and I don't know why that is. Disney's crazy right now, in general. This does not shock me, that they're locking down canisters. You have to be scanning stuff. Yeah, I think the waves of Disney are being affected by what's going on by the end of the year this year.
Well, because the thing is, this is a big year for Disney, because you've got two major franchises essentially ending. I mean, yeah, they're going to continue off in little different ways, but the whole bulk of this thing that you've built up are coming to an end.
Right.
So you want to protect that stuff.
Exactly.
So, this might be a thing that we have coming up down the road. All right, so moving on to some other news here. So Ghostbusters, we've, of course, been keeping you guys abreast of all the information that we've got coming out for this new Jason Reitman-directed one. Two things that we've got to report on that. One is that we've gotten casting breakdowns for two of the characters. Both of them, about 12 to 14 years old, so they're going young. They're going real young, which worries me.
Really?
Yeah, because I was hoping they'd be like high school age, 15, 16, 17.
Well, maybe they're counting on being able to go use them more. They'll get older. They'll
potentially, but even then, it's like, nah, man. Like, can we can we age it up a little bit? Like, our Ghostbusters were adults. Like, even when we had Extreme Ghostbusters, they were young adults. They needed jobs. So I don't know what going with essentially kids, preteens, is going to help.
Yeah, it's a little concerning. I'm not necessarily into this Spy Kids sort of feeling.
Now, the other thing going along with that is that we're going to get a lot more developments really fast, because we are looking at potentially a start date of May 13th. For filming. That's not that far away.
No, they're really fast-tracking this super hard.
Absolutely. So we're probably going to get more confirmations, because if that leaves us with basically a little over 2 going on 3 months before they start, we're going to get some casting announcements pretty quick.
I hope so. I hope to hear about it.
Okay, so that's that. Okay, so over on the Disney end of things, this is a little interesting. So Disney had 2 plays that they made this week. The first play was, all right, we need to give people something to get hyped up about. Aladdin, here's your first look at Will Smith as a blue genie. Oh my god, why are you mad?
Now I am upset.
Mad? Oh my god, what's happening? Like, of course, so we've now seen...
I was never concerned about the way he was dressed before, right? Like, that part didn't bother me. I was like, okay, you know, he needs to be able to walk around sometimes. That's fine. Like, blend in a little bit. Okay, I'm cool with that.
But he's looking a little bit Instagram filter.
And then they said, okay, no, don't worry. Most of the time, he's a CG blue genie. I'm like, all right, Disney, I'm gonna trust you right now. I was wrong. I was betrayed. This is wrong. I wish we had a picture of Genie right now. I don't know.
I didn't want to force that on the audience. I actually made that decision to not give you that picture.
Really?
Yes, because I didn't want to subject more people to it. Now, the other end of that is the fact that, okay, crap, that didn't work. What do we got? We don't have anything else. How much Frozen footage do we have? Like 30 seconds. Give it to them. And they've gone ahead and put out this 30-second teaser for Frozen Second. I believe that's what they're calling it, not 2. Frozen Second.
The second Frozen.
And it looks interesting.
See, I didn't like the first Frozen movie.
Understandable.
I was like, this is
we were not the target audience.
I was like, this is way overhyped. I realize we've got Let It Go. We've got this lady who sang in Wicked on Broadway, and like this is a big Broadway number, and it felt like it didn't fit in with the rest of the movie. I'm like, you sold me a totally different movie. What is wrong with you? But this trailer looks like
we've got Elsa out there doing like mutant training.
Yeah.
Like hard water training. That water looked really good.
Yeah, that water looked like real friggin' water. And water, notably, is the hardest thing to animate in CG. You know?
But like they've gone to such lengths to learn about water with everything they did with Moana. So you're just bringing that over here.
Right.
And then you gave Anna a sword.
Anna.
Whatever.
Anna.
And it's like, okay, is this the D&D campaign, Frozen? Because I might watch that.
Right.
All right, so you know what? Disney, you surprised me on that. Okay, so moving on to some other news here. Some interesting crossover between 2 things we really like, Monster Hunter and Kamen Rider. So this is an event that's going on right now with Monster Hunter Explore, which is the cell phone game we did have over here in the States, but they stopped support for the English release. You can still play it, you just have to go through other ways of getting it on your phone, and you can play it. But right now there's a crossover where you can get up to 4 armors for different Kamen Riders that you can play as in the game. Now right now you can play and get Geo and Gates armor. That should be the picture right there. And the week after that, as you can see underneath, you'll be able to get Deno and Exade's armor there for the game. So, of course, their weapons have been modified to work within the realm of Monster Hunter. Gates, of course, has a bow and a hammer. Geo has a great sword and a bow gun. Deno has a sword and shield combo and a great sword. And then Exade has a heavy bow gun and a heavy sword. So it's interesting that they're deciding to do that. It's just, you know, a helmet, pants, shirt combo to get your look to look just like a Kamen Rider, and then the 2 different weapons.
I'm surprised that it's Capcom that they're working with, you know? And it's not some Bon Presto or some other Bandai Namco mobile game or
which we've seen enough of.
Sure. I'm just really surprised they went and worked with Capcom, but that's really cool. That like that's a crossover I would have never expected. But let them do it.
Well, yeah, because you think about it, what was it, a year ago or a little over that, we were able to get Garo armor in the game. So Capcom's actually pretty cool when it comes to tokusatsu. I mean, I'm all for it.
Sure.
I tried downloading the game, but I don't have enough space on my phone, so I could only run it for so long. But I've already got other writer cell phone games on my phone, which serve me just fine. It's just I would like more.
I understand.
Now, if they could do like they did with adding Geralt to the most recent game, and we could do that on like the Switch or the PS4 and get those armors, I would prefer that and not just the cell phone game.
That would be super fun.
That would be fun. Like, that would probably make me go out and purchase the game right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, we've got that going on. And then next up on that, so the other thing that we have going into our Tokusatsu area, of course, you know, talking about Kamen Rider, we got two things to announce here. The first, of course, being we've got another spin-off movie from the Kamen Rider build storyline. This one's going to be revolving around Kamen Rider Greece. So, of course, that's going to be revolving around Kohei Takeda's character there from the series. Of course, he's a fan favorite. Kids, adults, everybody loves him and the things he's been able to do. This is apparently going to be, as they're billing it, the beginning of the end of Build's story, because in recent years, if a series is really popular, they'll just give them spin-off after spin-off after spin-off. And now we've already gotten 2 spin-offs. This will be the 3rd. I want to say that it's beginning to get oversaturated, but so long as they can kind of end things a little better for the character, I'm cool with that, because not to spoil things, but he doesn't exactly have a good time at the end of the series. So if they do more with his character and provide fans more of an opportunity to say goodbye to him, I'd be cool with that.
Sure.
And then moving on to our Super Sentai news, we have our first look at the poster for the upcoming crossover movie between Lupin Ranger versus Pot Ranger versus Q Ranger. So of course, the versus movies don't always happen every year. Nope, no, that's Batman's above it. You, yes. So that's going to be a lot of Rangers on the screen, because you've got, even though it says Q Ranger, there's 12 Rangers there, and then between Lupin and Pot, that's 7 Rangers. That's, oh my god, that's 19. That's 19 Rangers on the screen. That's a lot of Rangers.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen more Rangers than that on the screen.
I mean, we have, but it's just in a cross.
We've seen 200 Rangers on screen together.
Well, 199 Rangers.
200 Rangers.
Well, I guess because if Guy's in there in the background, then yeah, I guess you're right. Well, it's a lot. It's a lot. So that's going to be a thing coming up. And, of course, right now, starting today, you've got the Super Sentai Greatest Battle going on. I think the Raws just went up like an hour ago. Very much looking forward to seeing that, seeing all these returning Sentai actors. For sure. Check that out. The thing I'm hoping is that eventually when all of this stuff gets brought stateside is that they'll do it. And I'm starting to trust Hasbro on this stuff.
I hope Hasbro, yeah, I mean, we've got so much more to talk about in regards to Hasbro a little bit later, and they're really making me feel confident in their ability to actually get stuff done. So we'll see if they bring over maybe more movie-related stuff.
That would be nice.
That would be incredible, quite frankly.
All right, but that's all we've got for our follow-ups. Let's go ahead and get started with our first story, which, of course, is this unfortunate news between Activision and Blizzard.
Right, somewhere in here. There we go. Activision Blizzard, which we're totally sitting.
Yeah, you got that. Okay,
you know it's Activision.
You
Blizzard.
can see it through my bat symbol. It's there.
What happened here, Josh? Because they were doing so well financially.
Well, see, that's really the unfortunate thing about it, is that basically what it boils down to is that they announced this news in the same breath. Yeah. So Activision on Tuesday announced that they had set record-setting numbers for everything, for their stocks, for all the things that they've been doing for the past year, which is great. You know, of course, I give Blizzard a lot of my money for loot boxes that don't really get me anywhere. Right. So they've got that to go ahead and say, hey, look at us, we're doing really well. By the way, we want to go ahead and make our shareholders feel a lot better, so we want to make sure that we can give them as many dividends as possible. So 800 of you are without a job. Get the hell out. Yeah. And it was basically like that. That's amazing. That's the unfortunate part about it. It was very... the other shoe hadn't fallen before they let that one hit of, you guys are out of a job.
Yeah, exactly. That's incredible in the worst way possible, and it just doesn't really make sense because, yeah, they were doing so well financially.
They had posted $7.5 billion in sales with a profit of $1.8 billion. So with all those profits, you don't want to hold on to your people?
Yeah, exactly. Now, some people have made the comparison to Nintendo, in which, very notably in the past, the late Satoru Iwata took a pay cut in order to continue to keep on staff and keep on production of Nintendo products and games. You know, because the people at the top, quite frankly, they make quite a bit of money, and, you know, who doesn't want more money, I guess, but at the same time, you do what's best for your company. Or you take, for example, I realize this is a totally different industry, but do you remember a number of years ago, in order to keep The Simpsons going, the voice actors themselves took a pay cut?
Right, because they wanted to make sure that they could keep all of the cast together. And the thing about it is that shows the solidarity of not just the cast, but the company. Like, you want to keep what works together. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
And you guys ain't broke because you're posting all of these things. Your executives are getting millions of dollars for doing stuff, making sure that you can oversee all of this stuff, that the people underneath you, the real people that are making this stuff go and work and make sure everybody can enjoy the games that you're putting out on a day-to-day basis, and you're like, nah, screw them.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate. And of course, most, if not all of the people have taken to Twitter, basically in mass to say, hey, I'm out of a job. I thought it was safe.
They're really upset.
Yeah, and they're saying if anybody's hiring, if you can help a brother out, help a sister out, that would be great.
I know Square Enix specifically said, we're so sorry to hear about what happened at Blizzard. To anyone who needs a job, we have job openings right now. So, you know, Square Enix isn't exactly the most perfect, squeaky clean company either, but, you know, they have extended their hand in order to ensure that people do, in fact, get to keep a job. So, good on them, I guess, and I believe other companies are reaching out to do the same thing, you know?
Now, the thing of it, too, is that this is going to negatively affect them in the long run, because if you're doing so well, and then the first thing you do when you announce that you're doing well is fire a bunch of people cold-heartedly, what makes you think that people aren't going to, one, find out about that, because we live in a digital age, that news hit immediately. We see all of these people trying to get jobs, like we just went through that shutdown. You don't think that we don't know what that's like?
Yeah.
You know, people being affected by this thing, not having job security, you don't want to screw with that. And so when this news gets out, that makes people not want to buy your product and give you those profits.
I'm feeling that same way right now about them.
Because case in point, I've got a lot of friends on Overwatch who don't want to buy any more skins, who don't want to play the game, who don't want to watch league matches because of everything that Blizzard's done. And unfortunately, this is the thing that's kind of tying into that. We've got that new game that's just come out within the past couple of weeks, Apex Legends.
Yes.
They're picking off gamers left and right. Like, oh, you don't want to play Fortnite because it's full of whining children? You don't want to play over at Blizzard because, you know, basically we don't care about our employees? Come over here. And it's not a good time for them right now.
No.
Because, you know, they've basically shown up at just the right point where people are starting to feel that Fortnite is passé, it's oversaturated. You like Overwatch, but Blizzard's being a bunch of idiots with their staff. So it's like, well, we are here and we're free to play.
Yeah.
Come on.
And of course, I mean, they're making so much money too. Why would they not take that opportunity to try and get another group of people to come over there and help them make more money? Exactly. I absolutely agree.
And the thing of it is, at the end of the day, we imagine that at a certain point somebody's going to do a giant hiring spree, because that's kind of the cycle of the business. You know, a lot of people get employed, they stay for a while, you have these unfortunate layoffs, and then somebody's going to come along and take those things, take those assets, take those people, take those talents, and then put them to as best use as they possibly can.
Yes.
Because you want to be able to have people with seniority, with experience, that know what they're doing in all of the different fields that you need to make a game, and make a game as profitable as possible.
Yes.
So the thing about it is people are going to remember this. Like, it's really a question now of just how much in the whole, potentially, if not financially, then at least in terms of good faith, that this will affect Blizzard in the long run. Because right now, you know, it's not a good time to announce this right before your league matches start.
Exactly, but at the
why
same
would you
time,
do that?
maybe they're hoping that the league matches are going to drown out any other noise about all of these layoffs, because it's super exciting right now, and everybody's excited about the league.
Their streaming numbers are down from last year.
Well, last year was their big introductory year.
Yeah, and you want to ride that wave of like, hey, you guys enjoy this, right? You know, we're changing the meta for you guys. Aren't you gonna watch? It's like, no, you're being jerks.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And I want to give them money.
And see, I was really excited about this season, too, because they were going to start to actually have matches in other locations other than Burbank.
Right.
You know, they give other locations, like Dallas, for example, had other stadiums for people to go and visit and cheer for their home team and stuff. And here's what I'm curious about. Are people going to be paying to fill up all of those seats? Are there going to be butts in seats in all of these new locations where they're trying to
host I imagine
events?
that, like, if people already bought tickets for matches, like, they're probably already locked in. It's like, well, I already made that decision, fine. Some people want to get refunds on that. I guess they're more than welcome to.
Sure.
But beyond that, it's like, okay, you might coast for maybe like a couple of weeks on that, and you're going to hope that people forget. But the thing about it is, the internet can be very unforgiving when it comes to stuff like that, because these people who work in the video game industry start off as fans.
Right.
And fans remember loyalty to a thing. Like, people love Capcom to death, but how many times have you been screwed over by Mega Man non-releases?
Exactly.
You know?
Or somebody gets excited about, oh, this is the spiritual successor to Mega Man.
Oh. I put money into that.
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't.
I didn't personally.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, you know, it's that sort of thing. So we'll keep an eye on this. Maybe they'll learn from this. I doubt it. Because, you know, when it's one of those cases where, well, this could have been solved if the CEO took a pay cut and then he didn't, and he's like, no, I'm fine. I'm cool with my salary. Then that's where you end up.
Exactly. So this is a really unfortunate turn of events, and I'm really hoping that all of the employees that did get laid off, they do find their new employers.
The
very,
testers,
very quickly.
the artists, the programmers, everybody involved. If you guys see or know anybody, you know, give them the retweet, give them the like, make sure that they get their names out there so that they can help each other find work again.
Yeah, exactly. Prayers going out to those folks. We do still know some people back over at Blizzard, and apparently there's people with survivor's guilt.
Oh yeah, it's like surviving the snap if you're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, they took them, but they didn't take me?
Yeah.
Oh.
So all they can do is just wish their former colleagues the best of luck, and keep moving forward, and kind of hoping it's not them next, you know? It means nobody's safe. It's a little scary.
It is a little scary.
A little scary.
But that's our first story. Let's go ahead and get into our second story, which is a little bit better, which is this North American live-action adaptation of that really awesome anime movie that really swept the world, Your Name.
Your Name, exactly. So yeah,
show our main character
there's
there.
Our other dude right there. Yeah, so we got a director now.
Yes, our director's going to be Mark Webb, who famously did the two amazing Spider-Man movies. He did 500 Days of Summer.
So some people will have some issue with that, I think. I did not dislike those movies, but a lot of people, especially by the second one of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, did find quite a lot of issue with it.
Well, see, like, 500 Days of Summer, that's, like, his take on a romantic comedy.
Sure.
Have you seen it?
No.
It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I'm familiar with it, but I haven't seen it.
I like the tone of that one. So if you're bringing that to this story, you know, because there is a fair amount of comedy in the movie, in the source material, I think he would be able to handle that quite well. We've seen that he's already handled a special effects movie. Two of them, it did make money, it just didn't make the money that Sony wanted. And then it was the critical problem of, well, you overstuffed it with villains and this, that, and the other thing. And there were all these expectations, of course, because it's Spider-Man.
Right.
But here, you've got a different set of expectations because, yes, again, you're dealing with another adaptation, but this is something that we're wondering about because now we're in what I guess we'll refer to as a post-Alita world, where we've seen somebody can do it. Somebody can do a really good Hollywood film adaptation. Now, to go ahead and be fair to you guys who aren't familiar, haven't watched the movie yet, definitely go see it. What it's about is a boy and a girl who you see here. They live very far apart. The boy lives in the city. The girl kind of lives out in the country, very, very far apart, hours apart in Japan. And what they're finding out is that every other night they're switching bodies. So one day the boy will wake up in the girl's body, she'll wake up in the boy's body, and they're kind of having to communicate with each other by like writing notes on their hands or in notebooks, like, hey, I think I switched bodies with you. And then it goes back and forth for a while. Hilarity ensues, but then they find out this is all for some bigger purpose relating to a disaster that happens and whether or not they can prevent things from getting worse. So that having been said, it's going to be interesting to see how they adapt that over here, because we're finding out new information about how they're adapting the plot. Now, of course, because it takes place in Japan, in the rural countryside, a lot of things are based there in kind of the mythos, the different religions there in Japan.
Shinto specifically, yeah.
Specifically Shinto. So what they're going to do over here is that they're adapting it to where our main guy there, he's going to be a boy who lives in downtown Chicago.
Chicago, yes.
And our girl is going to be Native American and live out way in like Wyoming or something like that.
I don't know where she's living. I don't think we know where she's living.
Well, they said like out in the sticks somewhere.
Yeah, out in the sticks, but so some people are actually really concerned about this, and I think I understand why, because like I felt like it seemed pretty obvious that if you're going for really significantly older native religious sort of ceremonies, that's what Shinto is to Japan, and it's still very common and still very active to this day, even though in the context of the animated movie, they do kind of mock her for having to go through all of these rituals or whatever. My concern is there being any sort of mocking or belittling of Native American culture, because I feel like that's a super touchy subject for all of what us as a nation have done to Native Americans.
Now, the thing about it is, I get why they made that, because as far as a parallel to Shinto, respecting the spirits of the earth and ancestors and things like that, that's there in Shinto. There's a lot of that there in Native American culture. So I understand making that choice there of, okay, it's this, because you couldn't say it was like voodoo or it was science, because then it wouldn't work.
Right.
Because, you know, there's kind of got to be that 1-1 trade-off of, okay, what's the closest thing that we've got to that over here in North America? Native Americans did that. Great. Let's put a focus on
So I
that.
understand why they made that decision, but at the same time, they got to treat this with real kid gloves, right?
Well, not so much kid gloves, more like a surgeon's hand. They
Sure,
got to know
sure.
exactly how to paint this thing. Because the thing about it is,
we need representation.
the representation's important.
That is very important.
The other thing I would say is that when you look at it, especially thinking about this version that they're going to put out there, the fact that she's able to do these things based off her beliefs and religion and the way that all works is essentially what saves everybody in that movie.
Yes.
So that would show the importance here in this movie that way of thinking, that culture is not only valid, it actually helps serve the story. Like, somebody needed to have that connection to save people.
Yeah, and exactly, Barlazy, yes, respectful. For them to be respectful is very, very important. And for them to be able to make the correct tribal distinction, too, I think is also very, very important. Because you can't just say that Cherokee is the same thing as, Algonquin or
Navajo, all the other different branches there. And the thing of it, too, now that I'm remembering, there's a part in the movie where the girl, she's brought up in this culture, in these traditions that she's having to do, and she doesn't think it's all that great either. But then as she's going back over things, trying to figure out why is this all happening, she finds a connection with her grandmother about it. And it actually, further states to her, wow, this is really important. She might have experienced the same thing I'm going through.
Right.
And so that generational thing of saying, hey, these traditions, they're steeped in something, they mean something, there's validity there. I think that would be really important to see over here.
I would agree with that. I think that something like this should be done, but man, I hope that they have someone who is native working on this very closely.
And of course, the other thing you got to worry about is casting, because it's like, you can't just put somebody in brownface, because there's enough problems with that over on the East Coast right now in politics, so you don't want to do that. But along with that, I think there's plenty of actors out there who'd be willing to take on the role.
Sure.
I think it's going to be interesting to see, because it's not really going to be an effects-heavy movie.
No.
There's only one or two technical effects that you have to worry about, which are easy enough to do. Like, you can see them in a commercial for not Arby's, for McDonald's. Just sky effects and water effects. That's all you really got to worry about. Because other than that, it's at heart, it's a coming of age story. It's a love story.
Yes.
But you got to have that heartfelt connection to the characters, to what they've got going on, because that's what sells you on the movie. It's not so much the premise, because the premise is like, well, I've seen Freaky Friday, what do I care? But then you go in there, and it's the way that they're relating to each other, and the play between the two of them going back and forth. That's what sells you.
Right, see, because I actually did not know going into the movie that it was a body swapping movie, and at first I was like, oh man, I got into one of these, and then I ate my words like just a little ways through that movie. So if they do this right, oh man, but this has every possibility to, I'm realizing the possibility of like a white dude in a native chick's body doing all the most offensive things possible while in her body, because he's just not culturally aware or sensitive or anything to
now,
those needs.
if they show him mess up the first couple of days, and then he's got to go look it up and become respectful, that could be the fix.
I guess so, but it's still really concerning.
Because the thing about it is, and I'm already seeing it now, it's going to be real easy to be like, oh, so y'all just went Last of the Mohicans on this? That's what you did? Dances with Wolves, that's what you're doing here? It's like, no, don't do that. So yeah, admittedly, this is a gamble. It might pay off, but it's really easy to screw that up.
Yes.
You could crap out on this.
I would really agree with that, absolutely.
I would prefer the Jamie Lee Curtis version. I've seen the Jodie Foster version, but yeah, admittedly, I'm of a different era, so I like the Jamie Lee Curtis version better.
I just don't like that movie in general.
Either one?
Freaky Friday? No.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. It's going to be really interesting to see how they do it, but I think it's possible. But you have to be careful. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of angry people.
I mean, there's already a lot of angry people just at the idea that this movie's even getting made in the first place.
True. So if you don't want more angry people, watch yourself.
All right, we're done.
All right, that's it. So, we've gone from our crappy story to our we're not so sure story to some good news.
Yeah, so tell me where we're going to start off with, because you gave me so many pictures.
So, we'll start here with the Hasbro one. So, of course, the biggest news that we've got now is all of the news that we've got coming out from Hasbro for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Now, the thing about it is, we've been waiting for a while now. We know they've been filming. They just went back to start filming the second part of the second season, whichever it is, and we've been waiting, like, come on, guys, give us something here. We've been waiting. What's going to happen? So, Toy Fair, New York Toy Fair is going on right now, which is like a holiday for toy geeks
and
nerds right now. There's so much cool swag that you have available there. Props to Hasbro for knowing what they're doing, because the first thing they do at a shareholders meeting just the other day, they announced, we'll go ahead and tell you guys when it's going to premiere, because we knew it was going to premiere in 2019. We just didn't know when. Now, we knew that the toy line was coming, because we just showed you guys some pictures of that last week, and we've got more to show you here this week. But they've announced, we're going to go ahead and premiere the show on March 2nd.
Yeah, so that's coming in 2 weeks.
2 weeks from today.
Yes.
It's like, oh, what?
Yeah, that's exciting.
2 weeks.
Super exciting.
2 weeks. That's soon. Like, they're dropping this like it was Fallout 4.
Yeah, the, good Fallouts.
The good Fallout. So, people are like, oh my god, are you serious? Yes, and we're not going to premiere it at noon like we've been doing. We're going to do 8 a.m. So, unfortunately, people are going to either have to set their DVRs or just get up early. So that's a change from the last couple of years since Samurai. Power Rangers episodes have been airing around noon, which I thought was a better idea, because, by noon, most people are up anyway.
Yeah, but kids get up earlier on Saturday mornings. Most children are awake much earlier than noon.
I guess. But the thing about it is, going along with that is all these awesome things coming out of Toy Fair that we're learning about this. One, of course, being a trailer that they haven't released fully online, but people are, taking snapshots of it, making GIFs of it, and putting it up on Twitter.
Right.
Where we're seeing all of the things that they've kept from Ghostbusters.
That's super exciting that so much from Ghostbusters is carrying over so nicely, you know?
And the biggest thing, of course, because it's Toy Fair, are the toys. And there's one thing I grew up with that I spent, or my mother spent, a lot of money on. It's Power Rangers toys.
Yes.
So we'll go ahead and show you guys some of the pictures of what we got here. They're from Toy Fair. Some amazing things that we're looking at.
You just want me to start clicking?
Yeah, just start clicking.
All right.
So what we have here is an example of what we've reported before from back at Power Morphicon, the announcement of Hasbro's Lightning Collection. Now, they have sold me on the Lightning Collection with everything that have been announced. So what you're seeing here is the Lightning Collection, Red, Beast Morpher Ranger, and Goldar. Goldar is going to be a GameStop exclusive.
I'm so mad about that, but that Goldar looks so much better than he's ever looked before.
Exactly. He's never looked that good. Ever. And the thing about it is, as you can see there, as they announced back at Power Morphicon, the price point is going to be $19.99 for these figures, which have fig arts like accuracy, fig arts like movability, articulation, all the accessories you could ever want.
Griforzer, yeah.
Yeah, that's Griforzer right there, looking boss. They have switchable heads. They have effects for their weapons. It looks amazing.
It really does. And kind of building off what we said last week, too, these Rangers aren't the overly buff friggin' Bondi of America Power Rangers.
Power Ranger.
Yeah, they're not the powerful Rangers kind of modeled. Like, look at this. This looks like his body type.
That looks
right
like
there.
a human.
Yeah.
That looks amazing. And then we've got some other pictures here of the stuff that we're seeing from Toy Fair. So this, of course, is going to be our version of the Beast X Megazord, which they called GoBuster O there in Japan. Very easily, and I should have sent you that picture to make the comparison. The build of this, they scrapped the Japanese mold, which I am absolutely thankful for, because that was the year I believe that they started really screwing up when it came to their mech, because it was so bulky and disproportionate that it didn't look like a fun toy.
Yeah.
Like it was intricate, but it didn't look like it made sense. And here, what they've done is they fixed the proportions. It looks more like a humanoid robot.
Like a dude is wearing that costume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like we were saying this earlier today, we were walking around at a resale shop, and they had all of the pieces there of Ghostbuster O for sale.
Yes.
And I was like tempted to get it for a second, but then I remembered, wait, we've got this coming. Why would I want to spend all my money on that? And it doesn't look right.
That's very true.
And this is designed to move, because Hasbro knows robots.
Hasbro is really... Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously. With Transformers, oh my god. I can't wait to see them start combining toys to build these Zords.
Now, see, here's the thing about it where Hasbro got smart on your ass. What they did was, all of the different pieces are going to be sold individually.
Yes, of course they are, because they're Hasbro. It's going to make it more expensive, but at the same time, I feel like people want that?
Well, yeah,
because they want these individual things that are gonna combine and make this, because Hasbro's good at it already.
Yes. So the thing is, there's already people there, like Transformers fans and Power Rangers fans, coming to the table and being like, "Are we gonna do this? We're doing this. We're doing." And the amazing thing about it, going back to all of the Lightning Collection figures, the bulk of them, with the exception of the red one, as of right now, are all already available for pre-order. You can already get your hands on them, because that's the thing about Toy Fair, is we find out about this stuff and then we gotta wait like 4, 5, 6 months before we get our hands on it. And the thing is, Hasbro was smart. Like, not only are we showing you, hey, you want to see this figure? Hey, you want to see what it does? You like this, huh? You want this? Pre-order it now. Yeah, you can do it. Go on, spend the money.
And you did.
Well, not specifically for this stuff yet, because I'm waiting for something specific. Do you have the picture of the
well, why don't we just go straight down?
All right, let's go ahead and look into it. So this is actually going to be the what they're calling the Ultra Zord, which I figured they were going to do over here, which is the combination of all, I guess it's 6 different Zords there for Beast Morphers. Again, we're seeing that they've messed with the proportions. It's still hard to move, but the legs seem a lot more stable than the Ghostbuster version.
Yes.
And I guess they're going to be selling 2 different versions of this. One is a combination version, which you will have to buy all the individual pieces to make. And then there's going to be another electronic one, which will be cheaper, but more stable, and you can actually play with it like an action figure. I remember we saw this out of I think it was Playmates for Voltron,
Yes.
Legendary Defender, where they did that. They did a combining Voltron, and then they did an electronic Voltron.
I remember the 2 separate ones,
which was smart, you know, because you can play with one, and then you can build the other.
And was it Hasbro that did that one,
No, it was
too?
Playmates
that
on
was,
that one.
You said Playmates, yeah.
So, you know, we've got that to look forward to there. So here's going to be the individual Zords. The red Zord, blue Zord, and yellow Zord. The most obvious change here is to the blue Zord, where before it was hunched over like
a
an
gorilla,
ape, like a gorilla. But here they've made it stand up more like a robot, which is fine for a toy. You don't need it to hunch over if you want it to be more stationary, which is the thing that they've done here, which is smart. And they've changed the proportions on the legs of the red robot to make more sense and hold more steadily to the blue part, combining together to make the legs.
Makes sense,
It's so smart what they've done here, and they still essentially kept the look of the robot just fine. So, and to the yellow, they didn't have to make any changes hardly at all. They just made it a little bit more stable. It's like most of the decisions they're making here are no duh. Bandai, why were you so stupid?
They were so stupid. I don't know. Bandai of America made a lot of dumb mistakes. We got this picture.
And so, of course, we've got the transforming motorcycle, the Buddyroids, as we called them there over in Japan. That's coming over here. We're going to have the red Buddyroid transform into the motorcycle. They give him a little cannon there. It looks awesome. I can't believe, like, I want to say that they just kept... Because there was a version of that they sold in Japan. They might have just repackaged it and put it out over here. Either way, that looks just perfectly fine. The thing I want to show is more the Morpher here. So we were talking to you guys about it last week. The Morpher now, they made some changes to it. The biggest change being, of course, that there's a new key feature that they've added.
Yes.
Where all of the different figures and Zords and what have you come with these little keys that you can insert into the front. And each time you insert a key, it unlocks a different noise in the Morpher.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit last week.
What's cool about it is now that they've added this feature, so you see the red button. I don't know if they can see the mouse.
No,
the red button on the front of the Morpher, that's what you're going to hit now, because it used to be this. Basically, what would be the button right here, but now that's where you insert the key. The red button on the front is what's going to make the sunglasses flip up.
Yes.
Now that they don't do it all slow, it's just real quick, and it's voice activated.
That is
you
super
tell
cool.
it it's morphin time, which is, you know, that was their transformation catchphrase there in Ghostbusters, which they took from Power Rangers. So it's all come back into a circle here. Like, it's great.
Square circle.
Yes, all into a circle. And it makes so much sense. Like, fans right now online are waiting for that pre-order to drop. If you guys see on Twitter right now that pre-order is dropped, send that to me. I will put money down on it right now.
That's adorable.
Well, yeah, because it's been so long since I've wanted or cared for a Power Rangers transformation device.
I understand, yeah.
Because most of the, like, especially with Dino Charge, nobody wanted that Morpher designed for a toddler. Everybody was going out and buying the
Japanese ones,
the Kyoryuger transformation device because it was size accurate.
The American Bandai of America one was so small.
And just
For
those toys were
babies' hands.
They were. A lot of people have been complaining about what they called the "please steal me" packaging.
Yeah.
Because they used the least amount of cardboard possible. It's just right there, like, you want this? You don't want this. You want it, right? Don't you? Or you don't? Whatever. Like, they didn't care.
Yeah.
You could see, and the thing about it is, you see the packaging there for the Morpher. They've taken so much care to show, no, this is a presentation. We want you to feel good making this purchase. We want you to feel like I'm spending a good amount of money for a good product, which is amazing. They've actually shown on all of these different levels, showing us when the show is going to be airing, the attention to detail for changing the mold,
yes,
to basically adding a gimmick to something that didn't have one, and still making it feel natural, that they care about this. And people were kind of hesitant back at Power Morphicon because that was our first interaction with them. Like,
right.
Okay, well, we know you guys got it, but what are you going to do? And they're like, we can't tell you a lot. You got to wait. And now we're seeing it.
And it's exciting. This is super exciting.
Now,
I don't hear anybody getting mad at this at all.
No, people are hyped for the first time in a long time in a way that I haven't seen in ages. Now, I don't know if you have the picture here ready of the other Lightning Collection figures.
I don't know, somewhere. I feel like we should just kind of keep going down.
Yeah, so we've got the gold and silver mechs there, the Zords. We're going to see those. Let's see, we've got here the yellow mech and both the silver mechs right there. Beneath that, we've got the Blue Ranger mech. And now, as you can see there's the individual packaging.
Yes.
To show, like, hey, here it is. It's in the nice, kind of a Transformers-y box, you know, where you can see inside and be like, oh, okay, this is where I'm going to move that, and this is where I'm going to do that. So that's great.
That packaging is smart, for sure.
And it's very attractive looking, like, oh, I can see the toy there. Now, here you can see they made, right here around the leg, that's where they made the changes to the Red Zord, which is kind of a triple change feature. Mm-hmm. It can go from car to Cheetah to robot.
I think that's great. That's super ingenious.
That's got Hasbro written all over it.
Yeah.
Like, that was something they've kept over, but what they've done is they've changed the proportions on the Cheetah leg to not look stupid, because that was the problem in the Japanese version, is that the way it folded out, it kind of gave it a weird shape.
Sure.
And that added a lot of girth to the legs that really didn't help.
Yeah, but this has really streamlined it, and it's so much more of a play-with-able toy.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure. And I think you get more for your money.
Yes, absolutely. So let's see what else we've got here. So yeah, these are going to be the full-size versions here of those Ultra Zords. Here you can see the preview of what's going to look like with, I don't know what they're going to call it over here, Lion Hao. We don't know what the equivalent will be called over here, but that's the one that's going to be electronic that you can play with just on its own. You don't have to create it. The one over here behind me, that's the one that you put together by buying all the individual pieces. Now,
super great.
The price point on that is going to be like $30 a pop. That's steep.
It is steep, but at the same time, you know you're getting Hasbro Transformers quality stuff.
That's very true.
Move on down to
so
there
these, of course, are the action
figures.
figures. The thing you were talking about before. These are regular proportions, and the molding is great on them. Just a tiny bit of paint here on their little the thing that they use to call their weapons,
like their emblems.
Their emblem.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And it's fine, and these things are going to be so affordable. And the other thing here, that they've got the Darkbuster figure right off the bat. That's an insta-buy for me.
I feel like they're going to make him a much bigger character in this season of Power Rangers than he was in in
Ghostbusters. Because the suit only shows up in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, that suit is too good.
Yeah, they knew. They're like, oh, the suit is so good, we can't just use him for only 2 episodes. They knew. Come on now, they knew.
And that, again, going back, like, I don't want to completely trash Bandai, but they did it to themselves. Like, you looked at that and you're like, oh, we can't do anything with that. It's only in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Really? You guys don't want to film anything new? Really? Oh my god. Okay, so here we're seeing the different figure assortment here. Up at the top, you can see that we've got the gold and silver figures. They're going to be coming. We don't know who's playing those roles yet, or even if they're going to keep the thing where the Silver Ranger is a robot.
Yeah.
We don't know yet, but we know that those figures are coming.
Yes. That's exciting, too. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and find out, because those, I think, will be
now,
really...
strangely enough, we see their figures, but the thing about it is, if you've seen Ghostbusters, they have a different transformation device. There is no sign of that transformation device anywhere in this display.
They might just not have it quite ready yet. That's entirely
possible.
But man, do they have a lot ready already. That's crazy. And that might be, we're getting close to...
Now, here's the thing I wanted to show, the Legacy figures. So, all 4 of these figures that you see here, Lord Zedd, Shadow Ranger, Red Dino Charge, and the White Mighty Morphin Ranger, these are all examples of the first line of the Lightning Collection. They are all available for pre-sale right now for $20.
Yes.
That is amazing. And if you've seen any of these other pictures of these figures, just the articulation, the attention to detail, each one comes with a swappable head, with the exception of Zedd, because what would it be, just a brain?
Did we ever see just his brain?
Well, we've seen him. We only ever saw like one shot of him putting on his helmet, but we've never seen what his face looks like.
Yeah.
But otherwise, all 3 of the Ranger figures come with swappable heads. They come with effects parts. They look show accurate. And again, $20. That's cheaper than any fig art that they've got out there. They're beating them by about half price.
That's pretty intense. And we saw the
White Ranger one in person. We didn't hold it
at Power Morphicon.
Yes.
So, and we knew, Hasbro, what are you bringing to the table? So if all the rest of them are as good as this one was, then awesome.
Now, I
awesome.
do see the question there, will the 2017 movie versions be in this line? The thing is, and they've just tweeted this out not too long ago, that Hasbro is very much considering taking fan recommendations for what do you guys want to see in the next line.
Oh, that's great.
That's amazing. That they will listen to the fans like, you know what, you guys want something from us, we can make that. We can do that.
Are you gonna put money down on it? Why would we not want money?
Exactly!
So.
Like, why wouldn't you want to make money? It's like, well, you know, we've got all of these assets here. Yeah, let's do it. And they're saying that they're going to do things like the Ranger Killer, like Lord Draken, all these figures that people are really hoping for.
Exactly.
And we already reported to you guys about the hassle with the Lord Draken figures back at Power Morphicon. Would you like one that actually looks and like it's shaped like Tommy and not all beefy?
Yeah.
A good one that doesn't break on you?
So there's no confirmation that they will do anything with the 2017 film, but it's not totally out of the realm of possibility.
Exactly. So the thing about it is, there's only been 2 Lord Zed figures. There was the big bulky one, and then there was the one they did with the reboot Power Ranger airing that they did. None of them have ever looked that good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks like, I don't normally say this about all figures. That's a sexy looking figure right there.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, just the articulation, the attention to like, I can't, it's blown my mind. The things that Hasbro's doing.
Hasbro's been doing a good job.
So this is,
and 2 more weeks we're gonna see new Rangers.
Yeah. So the
on
thing
screen.
about it is, we'll get on that as soon as possible to let you guys know what we thought about it. Because for once, I actually want to watch Power Rangers.
The thing is, I'm gonna be away the day that it airs.
Oh, because that's gonna be your thing that weekend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here.
We'll figure something out. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. For sure. It'll be on the internet later, obviously.
Obviously, like, people are gonna.
But I really would have liked to have gotten up and like found somebody who's like streaming it because we don't have TV. But
we live in an internet age, so somebody's gonna do it. So definitely tune in if you got cable to Nickelodeon. They're on the 2nd, 8 a.m. Check that out. Power Rangers Beast Morphers. It's going to be the first of this new line. First thing that Hasbro's been able to put out. A lot of hopes and dreams of Ranger fans for the last 25 years are riding on this.
This is exciting. Exciting days. Exciting days to finally wrangle this out of the hands of both Bandai of America and of Saban.
Yes.
Let's hope that Hasbro did it right.
Because at least as far as the figures go, you've got my money.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll do it.
Let's wrap things up then. Thank you guys so much for being here this evening. If you're here with us live right now, we really appreciate it. If you're watching over on YouTube, I appreciate you watching over there too, but we would love to have you down here. It's typically on Friday nights at about 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Please come down here for that. But also, because after the show, what we're about to do right now is go into our Q&A session, so we're going to do another half an hour of talking to you guys here in the audience, because otherwise over on YouTube that's going to be a half an hour segment that you never see.
Yes, and of course during the week you can always talk to us over on social media. On Twitter I'm at JoshKnight1st.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
And that having been said, that's been this week's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys again next episode.
Thank you very much, everybody.